This conference will now be recorded.
How is this relating to the professions and how a business analysis is important in real time? Because, see, the course what usually we discuss is about IT business analyst, is majorly. As if you can see a person called as a business analyst work for IT company, must be having some skill set. Understand? Usually, this role will be acted as a solution provider. If you have any query, because as these are the introductory sessions, anybody have any queries and all, you please ask.
Okay, sir.
Understand? Mayura and Jane.
Yeah,
Okay?
sure.
If you have any query, you can ask me again. No worries. Right? So actually the role of a business analyst will be acted as a solution provider, uh, irrespective of the domain it belongs to. Either it could be in healthcare, or it could be in banking, or it could be in insurance, or it could be in retail outlet. Or for example, let's say I'll take an example. Let's say that there is a retail outlet called as Walmart. Okay, I'm just giving you the example. Right? Let's say the importance of business analyst. I will say, let's say there is a retail outlet called as Walmart. Walmart, what Walmart is into? Walmart is a retail store where they sell different products to the customers whoever has visited the stores. So while performing their business operations, what Walmart is required, they need different applications. They need different applications. What applications is required? Walmart requires different applications like yours, right? And inventory management applications. Okay. And they might have required an applications like payroll management. Right. So point of sale system, yeah, as you know very well, point of sale system doesn't mean whenever we do billing and all that, these POS systems will be there at the counters. This is point number one. Point number two, inventory management applications is to manage the maintain the data, whatever the products we have purchased from manufacturer to supply chain process and all that. All these will be classified using different inventory management techniques and all that. We store all the data when and wherever is required and all. This will be uh, used, like whoever wants these products and all. This can be used in inventory management. So we can see how many products we have available left over. So that based on that, if any shortage is there, so that we can order and we can get it. This is what inventory management is all about. And third is about payroll. Okay, payroll man. Payroll is all about employee salaries and all that, right? So assume that Walmart is a retail outlet, perform their business operations. Walmart requires these three applications because everything nowadays is automated. Nothing is manual as such, as you know very well. Right? Nothing is manual. Everything has been automated. Now, assume that these applications are using by these Walmart people since more than decade and a half, right? So they are using this from past decade. As these are the old applications, you might or Walmart might face some compatibility issues or might face some performance related issues, or they might have missed some kind of features and functionalities in the existing application. This is what generally the Walmart is facing. Okay. So now what Walmart is requires, Walmart needs to update their systems from time to time, not only of updating of systems. It's not only updation doesn't mean about performance and all. The kind of business operations what earlier it has, Now comparing to that, it has changed. Assume that. Okay. Now, so whatever the features and functionalities do they require in the present scenario, it's not there in Walmart now. No, in the applications now. So what they need some kind of updations on the existing systems which they are using, right? But the people, whoever are the end users, are we talking about? These people will be well versed with using of an application. But what updations and what changes do these require time to time based on the present business operations and all that? These people may not able to identify, or even though they identify, they are unable to provide solutions. Understand? Aman, Mayura,
Okay.
uh,
Sure.
Jayanti. Okay.
Yeah.
So, understood. So, these people may not able in a position to provide solutions. So, we need a business analyst. Here, the role of a business analyst comes. Business analyst will act as a liaison between business and technical communities. Understand? So, business analyst will interact with different end users, whoever are using these applications, and they gather what exactly the problem are they facing during the usage of the existing applications. Based on that, a business analyst will provide a business solution. Understand? Because we'll have two type of solutions. One is a business solution. Second, we call it as a technical solution. The difference of business and technical, I'll tell you, right? Afterwards, I'll tell you, right? So, business solution they have to provide. Let's say, let us take an example, the same as Walmart. Okay. May I know your good name? Another student?
Hmm.
They are using the following application. Okay. They are using the following application. What was that application? For example, uh, they are using a POS system. Okay. Let's say, what is meant by POS? Point of sale. Okay. This POS application is being used by Walmart since more than 10 years. Okay. Now, what is happening now? Walmart is facing a difficulty on few aspects. Okay, now Walmart is using this since few months, right? So they are identifying few things like decline of sales and all, everything were identified by Walmart people, right? So they have identified and they have researched all these things and all they've identified that. So these are the business problems which Walmart is facing. First problem is people are not out of, okay, people are not purchasing the products at our store. What is the percentage out of 10, okay,
Mm.
out of 10, 5 people are not purchasing, okay. Remaining 5 are purchasing, and 5 people are not purchasing the products at our store. So they are moving out. This is one business problem which a Walmart is facing nowadays. Understand? Point number one. The importance of business analysis, you will come to know here. Okay, what is business solution and all? You'll come here itself. You'll come to by explaining this solution, explaining this yes to you. Right. Point number two. There will be a delay in billing. There will be a delay in billing. So assume that these are the two business problems which Walmart is facing nowadays. Okay. So what was the first thing? Out of 10, 5 people are not purchasing the product at our store, which leads to
Decline in sale.
declining in sales, right or not? Which leads to
Okay.
declining in sales.
Sale.
So now what is required? Why? This is what the question is, right or not? Aman,
Right.
Mayura,
Okay.
Right.
Jayanti. Okay, right. Why is this happening? So now they have identified that 5 people are not purchasing the products as whatever the desired products they expect are not there in retail store. The reason why they are just going out. That was the major problem which you have identified. Why it has happened? Because it was not reflecting on the POS application. Why it was not reflecting on the POS application? Because POS application, usually you know this, right? So POS screen. So if you can scan the product and all,
Barcode.
automatically the products will be displayed and all. How it is displayed? Because POS is connecting to an inventory application. POS is connecting to an inventory
Inventory
application.
application.
So whatever the products customer is expecting, right? Those products are not available in inventory. That's the reason it is not reflecting on POS. So most of the people were means 50%. I'm talking about most means out of 10, 5 people are not purchasing because of this reason, not because of any other reason. So what was the problem here? The problem here is their supply chain process is not effective. Understand? Aman, Mayura,
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Jayanti, and may I know your the other student name, if you don't mind?
Shayanti.
Uh, apart from three. Okay, okay, fine. Please listen, Mister. If you have any query, you please ask me. Okay. Okay. So their supply chain process is not effective, right? So because of the ineffectiveness of supply chain process, they were unable to identify which products were moving fast, which products were moving slow, which products we need to order prior, right? How we have to get it. All these things they were missing something, right? So there that process is there, but it is not effective as it is required. Because of what is happening, we are unable to get products from the manufacturer, and that's the reason why it is not reflected on the inventory. The same thing is also reflecting the same thing on the POS screen. The reason why out of 10, out of 10, 5 people are moving out because of this reason. So what was the business problem here?
They need to
So,
update their PSO and look into supply chain moving fast.
so what is the solution here? Updating
Products.
and streamlining the supply chain supply chain process is the solution, right or not? This is what a business solution is. Understand?
Okay.
This is what a business solution is. Understood? Aman, Mayura,
Okay.
Jayant,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Okay, may I know your name? Right. Okay. So this is what generally a business solution is all about, right? So for this first case, whereas the second case is this delay in billing. This is what the major problem which a client is facing, a Walmart is facing. What could be the reason? Delay in billing because the systems what they were using were old. Understand? The systems what they were using were old. Second, frequent disconnection of, because as it is an online application, frequent disconnection of online is occurring. Right? Occurrence of frequent discussion of online and all that. And third, the third thing is that no sufficient counters at peak times. Understood? I mean, Mayura,
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Jane, okay, okay. So based on our understanding, these are the three major problems. One, delay in billing. First of all, systems were old. Second, frequent disconnection of online. Third, no sufficient counters at the peak time. So these are the three major problems where the billing is getting delayed. So which leads to one, customer dissatisfaction.
Good.
Customer one, customer dissatisfaction. Second, declining sales. Right or not? These are the
Right.
two major
Problem.
problems which the customer is a company is facing. Now we want us to provide a business solution. So what business solution are you going to provide here? One, first thing, the systems what they are using are old. So what we need to do?
Update the systems.
Upgradation of
Existing system.
the existing systems. That mean infrastructure, right or not?
Right.
Right? So you want to upgrade the infrastructure, means whatever the infrastructure do we have and all everything that must be upgraded. This is one business solution for the systems which are being old because of the old systems and all. Let's say earlier for this application, so whenever the time of starting their application and all that time, every 1 hour they used to get around 15 people for billing. Nowadays it has increased to 50 or 100. So what is happening earlier, because of the processor speed and all everything, according to that time, based on that business, we had that systems. But now, uh, people who is waiting on queues online will be of more. So what is happening because of the old performance of the systems, the applications are not performing well. So that's the reason it is taking more number of time for a customer to get their products built, whatever he has purchased. So we need to upgrade the existing infrastructure. This is one thing. Second, frequent disconnection of online is occurring. So why? Because as it is an online application, frequent disconnection is happening because of n different factors. Either it could be a geographical factor somewhere located in the test areas and all that. So what is required? Developing an offline system, okay, offline application will also be the solution. So even though it is not online, if there is an offline system which runs underline, so that our billing will not stop, right? So developing an offline system is another solution.
Solution.
Aman, Mayura,
Yeah.
Jayanti,
Yes, sir.
right? And the third is no sufficient counters at the peak time. So for that, what is the solution? Increase
Number of counters.
number of counters at peak times, right or not? So these we call it as business solutions. As a BA, you need to understand what exactly the problem are they facing while they were using the applications. Okay, and you need to provide business solutions to the customers. This is what generally the business analysis is all about, and the role of a business analyst in any of the organization is this. I've just given an example for Walmart here. You can relate this as Walmart, or else for example you are working in for a banking application and all, right? You have to take care of the kind of applications what they're using, what kind of problems are they facing and all. Either it could be an insurance or it could be healthcare or any domain. Irrespective of the domain, understanding the business problem and providing a business solutions to the customer is the role of a business analyst. But here the point is business solution alone is not sufficient here. What is required is
Sorry to interrupt you, sir, but I have one question.
go
Uh,
ahead.
in this business solution, we suggested the third one is increase the number of at peak times. But peak times will be only in a weekend. So is it a good to increase the number of counters because that will include additional cost and acquire some space, right?
See, it's this is terms and conditions. See, this is depends upon the area what we have, right? So see, you have to understand one thing. As a
Okay.
business analyst, you can provide a solutions to the customer, whether he is accepting this or not. Depends upon the geographical condition and all everything is there. This thing, okay?
Okay.
Because the decision what you have given, increasing of number of counters and all here, your job is nothing, right? You can, but you have to see whether what is the sufficient space do they have, right? Whether do they
Right.
have the sufficient space to increase the counter size or not. Even though it is not only required of increasing of counters, it is also important for us to deploy staff for that, okay, and
Right.
deploy an additional infrastructure. All these were matters that ground reality and all everything will be taken care of by the client or the customer. Okay. He has to
Okay.
decide based on the business what he is to get at that point of time, how much of the business is he losing. Based on that, this decision will be taken care of by the client
Customer.
itself, customer itself. Understand?
Okay.
But in order to minimize the kind of risk what it has because of the billing delay and all, this is also a reason or the solution which as a business analyst you have provided it to the customer. Okay, understood. Again, taking decision on this and implementing on this again depends on the geographical factors and as well as the space, everything, right? So everything will be taken into an account. Understood? Mayura, clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah. Got
So
it.
here, three things. One is about upgradation of existing system as we talk about, updating the streamlining process of the supply chain process, developing an offline system, increasing number of counters at the peak time. Okay, let us keep this aside for some time because this is nowhere required to implement initially, right? So this needs a business decision. Let us keep this aside. Now, what are the business solutions you need to provide? A supply chain process. Second, upgrading the systems.
Okay.
Third, developing an offline system. Okay. So these are the three business solutions as a BA you have proposed. So before we were implementing this, what we have to see for both the three things, we have to see what was the existing process. This we have to study first. What was the existing process? Based on this, how this is to be implemented in real time means providing a technical solution will be decided. Understand? Aman, Mayura, Jayanti.
Sir, can you explain once again this one?
See, here what you have identified, you have identified a business problem. Based on that, you have provided a solution, right or not?
Yeah.
Right.
Means effectiveness, there is as there is no effective of supply chain process wherein you want to streamline that. This is one thing. Second, you want to upgrade the systems. Third, you want to develop an offline system. For both these three things, do you see the reality or not? Will you see the reality or not? In real time, how far is this possible for us to implement? If it is to implement, what will be the cost? Okay. Once we have implemented this solution and all, how far this will be useful to the customer? That ground rail reality, do you need to understand or not?
Right.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Aman, Mayura.
Right.
Unless you
Yes.
understand that, you will not be able to give a solution to them. I mean, unless you know what you're going to get out of it.
Right. So, what will be the output and what could be the major output? What are we expecting and all? Whether it should be useful to the customer. It is not only providing solution from your end, but that solution should be acceptable to the customer also based on his requirements. Right or not? So that understanding is needed here. So what you have to do, for example, you want to streamline the supply chain process. If you want to streamline the supply chain process, what you have to do? First, we have to study the existing process, right? What flaws
Right.
you have identified in that process, we have to see. Based on that, you have to provide a solution. That's the reason in our business analysis terms, we used to call this as is and to be process. This is what we call it as is and to be process. As is and to be process doesn't mean as is doesn't mean
Existing.
existing system.
Okay.
Proposed doesn't mean proposed system. Means the present one. Which are we expecting, right? We have to identify the flaws between the existing and proposed. Is this really possible for us to upgrade the application or to develop a new application? Because sometimes it is really hard for us to change the existing application. In spite of it, better to develop a new one according to the requirements, right? That depends again, matters a lot because based on the kind of software and hardware equipment what they have used. Okay, assume that they were using the old processors, speed, applications, and all. Now you want to upgrade. Is this upgradation is really needed? Is this upgradation is really useful to the customer? Or in spite of repairing this, better let us develop a new application that is cost us very less and that will be completed very fast, right or not? So
Right.
these decisions we have to take, not only just providing a business solution, but that should be implemented in reality successfully. Point number one. So for that, you have to take assistance of the developers and technical people. This is one thing. Second, this kind of solution what you have given must be acceptable for the customer also. So technical solutions and all everything will be taken care of by the technical people, wherein whatever the business solution you have identified, for example, developing an offline system, what are the features and functionalities do we need to develop? All these things will be taken care of by the BA, means yourself. But to develop this offline system, what is the hardware, software, what user interface do we need to use, what operating system do we need to use? Nowadays every application is converting to cloud, every application is developing in cloud nowadays, nothing to be installed in the systems and all. Earlier we used to have systems configuration setup, right? We must have the sufficient what we call processor speed, sufficient RAM, all these. Earlier situation was that, but nowadays situation has changed totally. What is happening nowadays? Everything is cloud-based application. Simply login ID, password, go there. Whatever the infrastructure is already ready, use that application and log out. And whoever wants to develop, whoever wants to use, everybody can use application through cloud. You need not install anything. Simply if you have a basic laptop with an internet connection, a perfect internet connection is more than sufficient. You should learn. This is how the transformation is happening, right? Understood?
Right.
So not only of providing business solutions, but it must be implemented in reality, and compatibility issues, performance issues, everything must be taken into an account. And not only of providing solutions to the present scenario, but also we have to provide solution for the future also to the client. Because of the earlier issues and all, now client has got the problem. You can't give assurance that they don't get any issues and all in future, right? So we have to provide
Right.
solution for that as well. But here you are not going to provide any solution in reality for the future system. But you are opening up some options and you are telling them why we have to retain the customer. Let's assume that to provide a proposed solution and all, let's assume you are taking $1,500 to complete. So again, if customer is approaching you after 10 years or after 3 years or 4 years, again, if you say $3,000 to $4,000 more to develop a new application, will it be acceptable for him? No,
No.
right or not? So what you have to do, you have to say them, boss, you have just pay me $500 more. These are the features can be added into yours. So what is happening? You are retaining the customer for long run, right or not? In spite of putting him more amount of money by investing on new application, how long they have to do? They have to every time they have to spend a number of huge amount of money for this. Point number one. Second, every time they have to provide a training program for their end users and all on new technologies, new systems and all for every 15 20 for every 5 years or 10 years and all, which will be a burden and which will be a problem for the customer
Compa-
as well, right or not?
right.
So we have to consider all these. So end of the day, what is required? Retaining of the customer is needed. How to retain the customer is important.
Right.
Understood. Mayura,
Right.
Jayanti. Okay. Right. How to retain the customer is important here. To retain the customer and all that, we might require some techniques wherein we have to provide some kind of solutions to the customer, and those solutions must not be those solutions must not be a burden to the customer in near future. That is also matters you a lot, not only providing a business solution and all. So this is what the role of a business analyst. in real time.
Okay.
Yes, Aman?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Uh, okay, fine. Are you
Yeah.
clear? May I
Yes.
know the new joinee name? I'm
Jaya.
unable to hear you. No, apart from three, one more student is joined. I'm unable to identify him. Okay, fine. So this is what the introduction of business analysis. So what skill set is required to become a BA? Because there is called as craft skills. So what is meant by craft skills? What skill set is required for you? And next, followed by this, we talk about the technical knowledge like SDLC process and all that. Followed by this, there are some knowledge areas which business analyst must be good with. So those knowledge areas and all everything we discussed in coming sessions.
Okay, sir.
Clear, Aman? Clear, Madhuri?
Okay. Yeah.
Clear, Jayanti?
Yeah.
Right? And fine. So we'll discuss in tomorrow's session about skill set followed by SDLC process and all that.
Okay, sir.
Clear, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Raj, I had a question. I have attended a similar training session before, and I've also taken some classes outside in a community college. My question to you is, the theoretical part of it is all fine. It makes sense, but then in real life scenario, how much of SQL and other things that you have to use? How much of technical stuff do you need in order to be a BA?
That comes into the next picture. See, in real-time scenario, as a business analyst, you have to prepare few documents. This is all comes under requirement communication. You need to write BRDs, you need to write ESRS, you have to prepare some UML diagrams. Okay, you need to write some user stories. This experience you must be have, not only of theory. You must be experienced with these things in real time if you are a BA, which are all will be useful to communicate requirements with fellow stakeholders and all that. Understood, Jayanti?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so in this case, I mean, I've written BRD and I've used UML diagrams before, and I'm familiar with user stories also. But the question to you is like, as we join a new job, like how much of technical stuff is required? Is this enough to get in, or because when I see business analyst job requirements outside, there is so much of emphasis on knowledge of Java or knowledge of C++ or Java knowledge of Salesforce platforms and things like that.
See, as far as the technology is concerned, I understood your query. Means your doubt is that do I need to do any coding or not? This is what your question is. Understood that.
I mean, not even coding, but just to
Understood,
understand
understood.
how the system is
See,
working, you
why
need to have
why
some technical knowledge, right?
yeah, understood the point. See, why people are asking about technology, because as whatever the solution you are providing in real time, especially for these applications were technical solutions, either you have to go for Java, .NET or C++, or you need to use some Oracle database, or you need to use some SQL server or something like, right? So these are the technologies. So
Mm-hmm.
to an extent of business analysis role is all about whether how far is this technology is useful and as well as compatible for us, the proposed solution what we are providing it to the customer. These things we have to keep in mind. Understand, in spite of that, you don't need anything like you have to write programming or something like, because whatever you said might be right, because as these are the IT companies and all, they are providing solutions and all. If some sort of, that's the reason earlier we used to have a different role called as systems analyst earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, if you can see the profiles and all, every profile will be you can see as business systems analyst. Nowadays, you can see this kind of profile. In something somewhere you can see business systems analyst. Understand?
Yeah.
Business systems analyst means person who earlier who who is working as a business analyst must be experienced with functional process. But nowadays, what happened is not only the functional process, but it is also needed some kind of technology also, because how Java is being implementing by us, how far Java is required to provide solutions. Is this really suitable to provide solution using Java or not? That level of basic understanding is required, because as we are interacting with clients and all for every time, they might require they might have asked you some kind of technical queries and all, wherein you should be able in a position to answer. So till that extent, technical knowledge is required nowadays for a business analyst. Understood, Jayanti? Clear.
Mm-hmm.
So that level of understanding must be required for you in real time nowadays.
Because
If
even
you
the
are
even the requirements that from your company, she had sent some sample requirements. Even those say that you should have 3 to 5 years of real-time experience in a Java environment and things like that.
for
So,
Hmm.
but I mean, to get that amount of knowledge in Java or anything else, I have programmed in .NET, but then I don't have a clue about Java or any other environment. So it would be like picking up something and trying to understand, So my question is like, how, at a starting point, how is it going to be without knowing any of the technical stuff?
You cannot relate the same with every job profile, Jayanti. That is what the thing is. See, some profiles might ask you that you must be experienced with Java programming and all. Because what happens nowadays, person
Mm-hmm.
who is working as a programmer for few years, these people also come for business analysts
Mm-hmm.
because of the reluctancy of writing coding and all. Because some people will feel reluctant to write coding, coding and all that. So I am not interested towards that. So this is one thing. Second, because some people come from non-IT background. Okay. For example, some people work with banking operations and all for a long time. Now, because of the career upgradation and all, they're coming for business analyst. For them, knowing about the basics of Java and all, everything will become tougher. Okay. So it is depends upon the project to project. So you cannot generalize this for each and every role of a BA in real time. Of course, for some projects, yes, it's required, because they may expect you that you must be well versed with Java knowledge, or you must be knowing about servlets, JSPs, or and all. Why? Because there are different kind of applications will be there. We have standalone applications, we have client server applications, we have web applications, we have enterprise applications. Okay. So we build applications using some MVC architecture and all, because project architectures and all, everything will also be a part of project development. So these type of what are the different types of applications and how these application works and all that, that level of understanding is required for a BA nowadays. Because earlier, as I've told you, we have a separate profile for systems analyst and all. But nowadays, no, you need to have multi skills. Earlier it was different, but nowadays it's different. It's not only a role of a business analyst, but also you should work as a systems analyst when and wherever is required, because of the cost cutting, whatever the reason it was. Let us not discuss about these reasons and all. So nowadays, yes, few profiles they're asking about knowing knowledge about technology and all, but that cannot be generalized for each and every profile. It doesn't mean that you have to learn Java, you have to learn .NET, or you have to learn coding and all that. It doesn't mean that. If you have, it will be an additional advantage. Even if you don't have, which is not, it's not a thing. If you learn, it
Big
will be
deal.
more.
Okay.
It will be an additional advantage for you in that extent. If that was the case, what happens in real time? We have to learn Java, we have to learn C, we have to learn .NET and all that, because you don't know which technology people were using. Right? Practically, this is not at all possible for any person who is majorly focusing on business analysis and all that. Okay. So majorly as a BA, we have to focus on this. But of course, yes, because if you want to liaison between technical and business and technical communities, in order to make these people to understand all these and all everything, yes, technical knowledge is required. What are different types of applications? what is meant by Java, right? And how Java works, right? Why Java are we using to develop this project and all that? What will be the use? This level of understanding is sufficient for you at this point of junction, because you will be interacting with n number of customers, stakeholders, and all that. That level of understanding is required. What at least what they are doing and all, you must be able in a position to understand. So till this extent is required for you, not writing coding and all that. It's not your job. Understood?
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
as far as placement goes, I just want to know how, like, are you able to place everybody that you train, or how does the placement go?
See, I'm majorly into training. You can speak to your respective training coordinators regarding that. You have your own training coordinators and training firms who have referred me, who have referred you to my training and all that. You can speak relating everything to them. This is only for the training part, right? I'm
Okay.
only connecting, or I'm only relating only for training. Rest of the aspects you can speak to your own training firms and all, whoever they have whoever suggested you, this training firms and all that. You
Hmm.
can speak regarding that job opportunities and all.
Does your training come with? Do you have like a lecture note where somebody can go over what you've done?
Sorry,
Is there a lecture note like a material
Study
that?
material.
study material will be forwarded to you, because I have my own study material which I'll forward it to you. Okay.
So today or sir, like on weekend or today?
Tomorrow I'll forward it. Okay. The material will not be forwarded.
Okay.
Introduction material will be forwarded tomorrow. Okay. Fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Understood?
Tomorrow
Right.
at 7:15.
Same time, same time. Whatever the time, it was 5:45 a.m. IST. Okay, that's the time.
Okay. 7:15 for you Central.
You can convert from your time. Okay,
Yes,
right
7:15.
then.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Soumya, Soumya.
Yes, hi.
Yeah. Please log off and log in again. Okay. Right,
Okay.
Jayanti. Right, Mayura. Right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we can log off, right?
Yeah, you can log off and log in again. Okay. Right.
Right now we
Yeah.
have to log in again.
Yeah. You can leave, Mayura. Right. The session is
Oh,
completed. You can now.
And what
Your
about me,
okay.
sir?
everyone,
Thank
because
you.
new people have joined already. Next batch people have joined already.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Romit, Soumya, please log off and log in again. Okay.